language. So we need to know even about DFD or just flow oriented modeling, I can say. So in short, we say it is a DFD, data flow diagram. So from the name itself, we can understand it is self-explanatory. Data flow means it takes some input, process and produces some output. Our data will be given as an input to the system and the data will be processed and the software will be producing the data as an output. Raw data will be given as an input to the software. Software will be processing the data and software will be producing the data in the form of output. Okay, so we can say that input, process and output view of the system is represented by data flow diagram. So here we deal about how the data is flowing across the system. So initially input will be given, data will be given, that is considered as a raw data which will be processed. For an example, when you need to perform some addition, A and B you are giving as a raw input which will be processed by arithmetic operation. If you are using plus, both will be added and the output will be sum of those two data. That is a very simple process only, but for the real software project, some input will be given. You are entering some data so that the processed thing will be totally different. Like you want to know the status of your application. You are applying for something. You have you have applied for some job or it may be for some course or something like that. You have applied. Later after 10 or 15 days you come to know that the result has been announced. When you are checking it, so they will have checked the eligibility of all your thing, whether you are eligible to that particular course, and you might have given some examination. Examination will be evaluated later based on everything. The result will be announced that you are selected for that particular course. That will be the output. So the data what you are processing, what you are giving is your eligibility, that is your marks. Okay, and if you are giving an exam, even that also is considered as a data. So entire thing will be processed. Finally the output is produced as you are selected for so and so course or not. That is again a simple example only. So whenever we consider any software project, it will be taking a set of input, a set of data which will be processed and again it will be producing a set of output. When you are performing arithmetic operation, you are giving some values only which will be stored in the variable. Again using the variable only, the output will be displayed. So input as well as output will be in the form of a data. But what kind of data only, it varies. When you are giving to the input, it will be of raw input. When you are receiving the output from the system, it will be a processed data. That's it. Okay. Right. So how are we going to draw the data flow diagram? So here two things will be represented. Your data objects. Data objects are represented by labeled arrows. Data objects are represented by labeled arrows, and the transformations are represented by circles in simple. Exactly, if you are saying this is called bubbles. So circle means it will look like this. So when you are giving a shade of this, we say it is a bubble. So in data flow diagram, we will be using mainly two symbols. One is a arrow, labeled arrow. Other one is a circle or bubbles. Okay, right. So first I will explain you, then will give you a few important points. So your data flow diagram will be of various levels. Okay, so the starting level you can say it as context level DFD. Context level DFD DFT. Very beginning, we won't be knowing anything about the entire system. Okay, again I will take a very simple example only. We are doing the automation of the whole institution. We are performing automation. So to represent that, initially I can just say read input. Read input. Okay. So then I can say that automate the entire process. Automate the entire process, and then automated output. So I don't understand anything from this, but this is the overall thing. In other words, with a simple flow chart I will explain you. And one more thing you need to know, this will be normally represented as a hierarchical diagram. Hierarchical diagram, that is, there will be a hierarchy, there will be a order. So that order only we are denoting by level 0, level 1, level 2 and so on. Okay, fine. So for example, I am using a flow chart. Start, here I am reading input, read input, and then here I am doing, performing some arithmetic operation. Arithmetic operation. Only this much I am mentioning. So later the output will be displayed. This is my overall diagram of the entire system. Overall diagram of the entire system. Just start my process, read the input, perform arithmetic operation and produce the output. What exactly the arithmetic operation? So now this will be refined. This will be refined. So that will be broken into again number of pieces. Okay. So in that I will be able to specify some more operations. Some more operations again to give more clarity that level also will be refined and you go to next level. You get my point? So here I have just said arithmetic operation. So in the next level I may specify arithmetic operations on an integer, arithmetic operation on a float number, arithmetic operation on a class objects. And again, what is the arithmetic operation? The arithmetic alone will be broken again. Add, separate function, subtract, separate function, mul. So until and otherwise, I will be able to make a clear program for an entity. I'll be able to make, or I will have to go on refine my levels. Go on refine the DFT. You get my point? So initially when I say just an arithmetic operation, I will not be able to do what it is. Whether it is only addition or subtraction or multiplication and what kind of data it is going to take as input. Whether it is integer or string or float, double, object, what it is. Later I am giving refinement of that. Okay, so for a particular data type, again into that what operation. So I keep on divide. So I will go on extend my DFT. So first level DFT, that will give me the overall idea about the system. Later on a particular operation I will focus on, that will be refined. Then again you derive that. Okay, so till when I will be deriving, when I will be able to write a program for that particular data object. Till that level I will keep on refined it. Like you kept on divide, make it as a small entity. When it becomes a small entity, it is another very simple example I can say. When we are evaluating any arithmetic expression, your expression is looking like this: 2 plus 3 4 divided by 6 and power 7 and minus plus 8 minus 9 multiply 6 divide 9. So this is how something is given. When you look at this, obviously we will not be getting any idea. What we are supposed to do, wherever there is a bracket, that we have to introduce it. If not, to our understanding at least we need to mentally we have to put a bracket over there. So we know the precedence. And we know the left associativity, right associativity. Based on that, we will be introducing a brackets, right? So among all these things, which will be taking the highest priority? evaluated first? Sorry, exponentiation varada? Exponentiation varuma varada? That will be the first. Okay, so first this one. It is like you can put a bracket over there. So this needs to be evaluated. And then you are having multiplication and division. When there are two operators of the same precedence, we have to see the associativity, whether it is left associativity or right associativity. So multiplication and division will be following the left associativity. So left to right. So then what I will be doing? 3 into 4 divided by 6. Divided by 6. Okay. So this is being 6 is fine. So this we have taken 6 exponent 7. Right? So this will be evaluated. This will be evaluated. This will be kept as it is. So after evaluation of this particular part, you tell me the answer of this. 6 to the power 7. 6 to the power 7.
2796.
Okay, some number. Okay, so some x if it is. So then what I will be doing? 12 divided by this number. 12 divided by this number. So the next what will be evaluated? I am having the highest precedence operations. 9 into 6 divided by 9. Okay, so left to right. First this will be multiplied and then divided by this. So what I am doing actually, unless and otherwise I get the clarity which operation has to be taken place, I will not be able to proceed. For that only I am following the precedence and the associativity. My precedence and associativity and then parentheses are helping me to make the operation simple. Similarly, I am not evaluating this exactly here, just to give an idea. Similarly, when we are constructing a data flow diagram, the first level, context level or level 0 DFD will be giving you the overview of the entire system. Then you go to a particular thing and then break it into number of various data objects. Again it can be divided into another level. Yes, do it. Unless and otherwise you are able to understand very clearly, for which you will be able to write the program. You need to go on refining your DFD. Clear? We'll see example here. So as we are using bubbles and arrow, the diagram may not look like hierarchical, but actually follows hierarchical fashion only. Okay? So take down few points related to this. A DFD is presented in a hierarchical fashion. A DFD is presented in a hierarchical fashion. A first data flow model, sometimes called level 0 DFD, sometimes called as level 0 DFD or context diagram. Context diagram represents the system as whole. Represents the system as a whole, which means about the system, the overall view only is the first level. Subsequent data flow diagrams refine the context diagram, providing increasing detail with each subsequent level. Subsequent data flow diagrams refine the context diagram. Refine is nothing but redefine. Okay? Refine the context diagram, providing increasing detail with each subsequent level with each subsequent level. So let us see first context level DFD, context level DFD for the safe home security function. Safe home security function. So this is about, we are constructing a context level DFD, which means level 0 data flow diagram for the safe home security function. It is for the smart home. Okay, safe home security function. Safe home software. Safe home software only is a data object here. Okay, so safe home software which is having some entity, external entity, control panel, sensors. Anybody wants to talk, you can please leave the classroom. You are allowed to leave. Control panel display, alarm, telephone line. So this will be giving user commands and data from the sensor status will be given as input, and from the software the output will be the display information, alarm type, and telephone number, and tones. Telephone number and tones. Sarath Bhuneshwaran. Sarath, get up. First bench, Mama. Come to the first bench. And from the next class, few benches should come forward, which means bench totally you have to move. Okay? Next hour I will come and check. After this hour, move the bench little front. Draw the diagram. Completed. Dhanush, you have completed drawing this. You are able to see the board. Gautam, you are able to see. So normally this data flow diagram model or creating a flow model will enable us to understand clearly about data domain and function domain. What is the data? How the data is processed? How the function is performed? How function is taking the data? What data will be given to a particular function? So we get to know very clearly about the data domain and function domain. So data will be fetched from the database, or it can be supplied from any of the sources. Like it may be a real-time data, or it may be some manual data, or it may be stored in the repository, like from any resources, data will be provided. Function on the data with the some other elements the function will be performed. That is to process the data. After processing the data, again the data will be transferred to the place where the data is required. Like you are waiting for the result. You are the one who is giving a request by giving your application number and you want to know the result. So you will be receiving the result, or the result has to be supplied to someone else, or the result has to be processed by some other entity. To that domain, the data or the result will be supplied, right? So data, first the raw data could be fetched from any of the sources. The data will be processed by the software or the functional domain. Again the processed data will be displayed or supplied to the place where it was requested for. Okay, so here is a simple context level DFD, that is level 0 DFD we have, because see, when you look at this Safe Home software, I don't know what this software does, correct? What exactly the software is doing, we don't know. From this diagram, what you can understand, from the control panel, you get, the software will be receiving the user commands and data, what it is supposed to do. Suppose you have deployed a CCTV, you have fixed a CCTV in your house, okay? So that CCTV camera will be giving a input to the device to which it is connected, right? So some particular user or maybe the house owner might be knowing, or he wants to know what is happening in and around of that particular area, because in front of his house he has fixed, or within the house. Imagine a small baby is kept at home and there is a babysitter who is taking care of that baby, but I have a doubt on the babysitter. So what I do, I just set up a CCTV in my house, and the CCTV data will be given to my device, my laptop or mobile phone, through which I will be able to monitor. So the input what has been given is, it is fetching the data from, it will be capturing photo and videos. It will be in the form of video. Video will be captured. That is the input to the CCTV. So this CCTV will be sending the data to me. From the CCTV, I will be receiving the data, right? So suppose I am giving a request. I am giving a command that at 9 to 10 I am not able to monitor. I am not able to monitor due to I was busy, or I did not have any network, so I could not see what had happened from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So I wanted to know what had happened during that time. So I will give a command that I want the data from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That will be the user command. Okay. So during that time, whatever the video is there, it will be giving me. So then I can ask, I want little more resolution. So I want to pass that video, and that particular image or something alone needs to be zoomed. That is the command and what data I am looking for. That is the thing I will be giving the input to my system, and my system will process and giving me the output. Clear? So control panel will be giving the data. Similarly, sensor. So I will be having a sensor, that is my CCTV camera will be having a, it's not actually a sensor, but in some other devices we will be having a sensor. Okay, so from the CCTV I will be getting the data. What this software is going to do. So it will be displaying the information to the control panel, like as it is, it may display. Okay. Alarm type. Suppose any emergency happens, some intruder, some stranger has come to the house. So immediately the software has to give me the notification. Okay, so it will be giving me the alarm. Or sometimes I would have given a telephone number. To that telephone number, I will be getting a call. This is how I have, expected my Safe Home software to be. You get my point? So it will receive input and it will be taking the data from the sensor, it processes it, and just it will give me the display, or if any emergency is there, it will be giving me the alarm, or someone has to be informed over the message, not just alarm. Something has to be informed immediately. So the telephone number will be dialed, so that person will be picking up the call and they will be knowing the message. So now only come to know some software. What exactly the software does. Unless and otherwise we know, we cannot write the program. Just if I ask you to do a program for this, it will not be that easy. I should specify what are all the things the software must do. Okay, so that will be represented in the next level of DFT. So I am going to refine this Safe Home software in the next subsequent levels of DFT. Clear? Okay. So there are some guidelines for data flow diagram. Please note down that this is very important. Number 1, the level 0 data flow diagram. The level 0 data flow diagram. The level 0 data flow diagram should depict the software system. Should depict D-E-P-I-C-T. Should depict the software system as a single bubble. As a single bubble. As a single bubble. We are going to see the next levels, but before that, note down this. Number 2, second guideline. Primary input and output should be carefully noted. Primary input and output should be carefully noted. Shakir, button बोलना Third point. When we address someone, others no need to give attention, or at least stop smiling or laughing. Third point, refinement should begin. Refinement should begin by isolating. Refinement should begin by isolating candidate, process, data objects, refinement should begin by isolating candidate, process, data objects and data stores to be represented at the next level. So first level is overall system. Next level only we are going to refine. So while doing the refinement, what are all the things should be focused. Next point, fourth guideline. All arrows and bubbles should be labeled with a meaningful names. All arrows and bubbles should be labeled with a meaningful name. Next guideline, information flow continuity must be maintained. Information flow continuity must be maintained from level to level. Information flow continuity must be maintained from level to level. What is the meaning of this? So you are having one data object in context level, and later when you go to level 1, you totally forgot what for you started that process itself. Okay, so there is a disconnectivity between two data objects. That should not happen. There must be always a data flow continuity. That is very, very important here. Last point, one bubble at a time should be refined. One bubble at a time should be refined. Right? So please go through all the 6 points once without making noise. One bubble at a time should be refined. Josiah Jonathan, I told you to go through the points. from the object. Okay, it is these things are providing input to this, and these three boxes are receiving output from the data object. So this is called a data object, okay, which is being represented by a bubble, and any time you need to consider only one bubble for the refinement when you are taking this, because in the next step here there is only one bubble, so you don't have any doubt. When we go to level 1, obviously more than one data objects will be there. So when you are having more than one data object, at any point of time you need to refine only one data object. Everything if you are doing, there will be a confusion. Parallelly you should not do. But once you complete the refinement of one level, obviously it will look like parallelly done. Okay. For example, so this is being divided into 3. This is being divided into 3. Okay. So at the time only this you considered and you refined as 3 data objects. 3 data objects. Next, as the rule says that at the time there should be only one data object refined. So I am taking this alone and I am doing some process. Okay, it is producing some output. Later, after completion of this, I am going to take this. This may be producing 2 kinds of outputs. Let it be. And this, when I am considering, this may produce 3 output. But on the whole, after at the end of this, when you look at that, everything has happened parallelly. But the process should not happen parallelly. At any time, only one data object has to be refined. That alone, please remember. Okay? Clear? Okay. So we are moving forward with the refinement. That is level 0 DFT must be refined to level 1 DFT. Level 1 DFT, because when I look at Safe Home software, just by seeing this I will not be able to write a program, or the beginners will not be able to create a software for this. Okay, so this needs to give little more detail. It should give me more details, only then I will be able to code it. Correct? No? Right. So how are we going to refine it? What is there any procedure to refinement? There is no procedure at all. We only use grammatical parse. Grammatical parse. Like I need to read the problem. I need to read the problem. My software is going to be designed to do so and so things. To do so and so things. It is going to monitor a particular thing. It is going to record a particular thing. It is going to manipulate a particular thing. My automation is going to be, my automation is mainly done to take care of the attendance and to take care of the marks. So here itself there are 2 domains. One is marks, another one is attendance. So again when I go to the marks, that will be again, it will be of 3 CR, CR1, CR2, CR3. Okay, again you will be having a CDAT, and that will be having a assignment. So all those things will come under marks. That is all comes under internal mark. Then you have another category called external mark. So that will be of the end semester examination. End semester examination. So all these details are required for the marks part, marks domain. Similarly for the attendance domain, how the attendance is going to be given. We are all having certain procedure, right? If you are attending CDAT, if you are attending CDAT, CAT, if you are giving 100% attendance, like for everything some points are there. So that will be added. If you are present for all the CAT examination, for that some contribution will be there. And then your actual attendance will be taken for some percentage. So that calculation will be done. Period 1, period 2, period 3, then consolidated attendance. All those things have to be done by the attendance functional domain. Attendance functional domain. So when I just divide that as a small entity only, I will be able to code it properly. So the coding again will not be same for CDAT, CAT and your external examination. Similarly, attendance, the first period may be having 2 months. From June to August will be period 1. Then September and October will be period 2. November and December will be period taken place. You get my point? So each and every data object will be taking a different kind of data and the process also will be different, and based on that the output will be produced. So I need to properly identify, or I need to know the clear entities of each and every data object. So when I am refining a particular data object, we need to follow certain things. To follow that only, first understand the process. English grammar, like translated properly. E for stress and parse. Okay, stress and parse, and then parse your statement. Divide it, and the division will help you to make it as a individual data objects. As simple as that. So for this example, I will give you set of points, and then we will move on with the next level DFT. Okay. So the first point, using a grammatical parse. Using a grammatical parse. Parse. Grammatical parse. First one, the safe home security function. The safe home security function enables the home owner. The safe home security function enables the home owner to configure the security system. To configure the security system when it is installed. Configure the security system. When it is installed, monitors all sensors. It monitors all sensors connected to the security system. So you can underline security system in the first statement, and in the second statement, when it is installed, it monitors all sensors. Underline sensors connected to the security system and interacts with the home owner. Interacts with the home owner through. Interact with the home owner through internet or PC or a control panel or a control panel. So it may be collects or it monitors the sensors which are all connected to the safe home function, okay, and it reports to the home owner via internet to the PC or to the control panel. The control panel may be of anything. It may not be only a PC, it may be even the laptop, or it may be a mobile phone, but in general we do not like this. Okay. So this is your first interpretation. First interpretation. Second, during installation, underline installation. During installation, if you read like this only, you can remember. During installation, the safe home PC is used to program. The safe home PC is used to program and configure the system. To program and configure the system. Underline system. Configure the system. Each sensor is assigned. Each sensor is assigned a number. Underline number. Each sensor is assigned a number and type. Type also underline. These are all the things are going to become data objects now. Okay. Sensor, number and type, and type, comma, a master password. A master password. Master password is program for master password is programmed for arming and disarming. Arming, A-R-M-I-N, arming and disarming, the system. And telephone number, underline telephone number. Telephone number or input. Telephone number or input for dialing when a sensor event occurs. Telephone number or input for dialing when a sensor event occurs. So when some critical information is supplied by the sensor which has been identified by the safe home function, a particular telephone number needs to be dialed. Okay, so here telephone number is also an important object and sensor event is also important. Okay, so next, when a sensor event is recognized, third point. Siddhi Kumar, are you writing? Have you all got the book? Anybody has purchased the book? எப்படி படிப்பீங்க? Okay, third point, when a sensor event is recognized, the software invokes an audible alarm. When a sensor event is recognized, the software invokes an audible alarm attached to the system. Attached to the system, which means depending upon the sensor event, two things may happen. One, some alarm needs to be given or somebody has to be informed through telephone. When a sensor event is recognized, the software invokes an audible alarm attached to the system. Finished? So, little lengthy point. After a delay time, underline delay time. After a delay time that is specified by the homeowner, during the system configuration activities, the software dials a telephone number of a monitoring service. The software dials a telephone number of a monitoring service, provides information, underline information, provides information about the location, underline location. Okay, so information and location both are important here. Reporting the native of the event that has been detected. Reporting the native of the event that has been detected. Reporting native of the event that has been detected. The telephone number will be redialed. The telephone number will be redialed every 20 seconds until the telephone connection is obtained. Underline telephone connection. So what is the meaning of this? You have two things, two processes may be taken place. Sensor will be giving the information, right? From the information, first the alarm will be given to the house owner or home owner. but there is no response from that. Only the notification is being given. Whether the person has notified that notification or not, there is no clue about it. Okay. So next what they are doing, what the system will do, immediately it will try to contact by dialing the telephone number. Okay. So even then there is a delay, he is not picking up the phone. He is not able to be given the information about the event what has happened on a particular sensor. Okay. So it keeps on calling, keeps on redialing every 20 seconds. It will be dialing, and somehow it will convey the information to the owner. This is what the instruction given to the software. This is what the expectation given by the home owner. Okay, how I should get the information? What for I am deploying the software into my home? I should get intimation from the sensor if any critical event happens. If anything happens, that may be even some birds or some snake or some insect might have come. That may be also a dangerous thing. Whatever it may be, it has to give an alarm. It has to give an alarm. With the alarm, it cannot give any information. It can only alert you. More than that, it cannot do anything. Correct? So when you are getting a notification, you need to contact the house and get to know. If there is a delay in that, immediately the next step is that using a telephone number, it will be dialed to that home owner and the information will be provided. What for the dialing is done? To give the information about the event occurred which is being detected by the sensor. Clear? Right. So the next point is the home owner receives security information. The home owner receives the security information, underline security information via control panel, PC or a browser, collectively called an interface, underline interface. Through any of the mode he is getting the information. Okay. The interface displays prompting messages. Underline prompting messages and system status. Underline that. System status information. Information on the control panel, the PC or the browser, may be of anything. Interface could be of anything. So, about the same home software, these are all the information. First we are understanding. This is how the program, the software has to be designed with the press and pass. With the grammatical pass, you have to understand the problem. You have to know the problem, and then only we will be able to define the DFT. Okay. So we'll see now level 1 DFT. We have just completed level 0 or context level. Now it is going to be you are given all the informations now. So using that only, the next level is going to be done. This is, please note down, level 1 DFT for safe home security function. Control panel. This is bubble only, the shape is little different, you draw it properly. User commands and diagram. Interact with user. Process, password, vertical only. There is no space. We draw like this. Configure. A request. Configure a request. So the data object will be configure the system. Let's stop with this. So here the label will be start or stop. The data object will be action, reaction, or activate or deactivate. Activate, deactivate system. This continues. When not completed,